Hello, and welcome to today's show, Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, international leadership expert and trusted advisor. Welcome to Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm so delighted that you joined me today. Our topic is creative leadership. So what do we mean by creative leadership? I'll share more about that in just a few moments. Right now, I want to take a moment to welcome you. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Gloria Burgess. This is Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'd like to extend a special welcome to those of you who are joining Talk Network Radio for the very first time. You're in for a real treat. I'm excited to have you listening in today, and I'm deeply honored that you've allowed me to be part of your day so you can be inspired by ideas and resources to make your life count. Now, like I said, today's program is all about creative leadership. Now, some of you may not actually think of yourself as a leader. Maybe you're a psychotherapist, a clinician, a nurse, or maybe you're an entrepreneur like me. Or, like my niece, maybe you're a student in college and you have no idea right now of what you want to be or do after you graduate. Well, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter what you do in your professional life, and it doesn't matter what life stage you're in. You are a leader. How can I say that with such assurance? Here's how. If you are alive and participating in this great adventure we call life, then you are a leader. Now, maybe you're the only person you're leading at the moment, but somebody has to be in charge, right? And that's you. You are in charge of yourself. So you can make a difference in your own life, and you can also make a difference in someone else's life. When you know how to lead yourself, you can transfer that knowledge. You can transfer those skills so you can lead well in any circumstance. Now, today we're going to talk about how to do just that. Specifically, I'm going to talk about creative leadership. Because if you can tap into your own well of creativity, if you can do that, then you will be equipped to lead yourself and others in any situation that comes up in your life. Now remember, how you live is how you lead, right? It's how you do everything. So what you're going to hear about today, you can also apply it in your daily life as well. What I'm going to share with you today is a wonderful, wonderful example of what legacy living, make your life count, is all about. Okay? Here we go. Creative leadership. Now, we are in the process of creating a new story, a new narrative. And that new story is all about creative leadership. This new story is compelling because now more than ever, we need all of us to recognize and tap into our creativity to lead well as co-creators in whatever our sphere of influence happens to be. In our relationships, in our families, in our work teams and organizations, in our communities, in our churches and synagogues and mosques, in our civic and political institutions, in our cities, and in our nations. So this new story actually puts creativity, the arts and artistry, right back where they belong, along with leadership. not on the margins, but at the very heart, at the very core, the center of our spiritual, social, cultural, political, and economic lives. In fact, this story joins creativity, art, and artistry with leadership. Because you know what? That is precisely what it will take to lead well, to lead with authenticity, to lead with courage, to lead with empathy and gratitude, faith, integrity, to lead with humility and hospitality, to lead with love and legacy in the 21st century and beyond. Now, I know I've shared this lovely story before, but I want to share it again. In the United States, there is an absolutely stunning region of our country in the Appalachian Mountains. In a part of that region we call the Appalachia Hill Country. Now, the folks who live there, especially the elders, these people have a very special, lovely way that they greet you. When you come to their door, they will greet you not by saying, hello, hi, how are you? Instead, they'll greet you by saying something like, what's working ya? Right? I'm going to repeat that. What's working ya? That's right. So today, I want to share with you that in my journey as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as an artist, in my journey as a mom, wife, community steward, what's been working me is at the very intersection of creativity, artistry, leadership, spirituality, human dignity, and freedom for all. These are the key things that have been working me. Now, they've been working me for many decades, so this really feels like home to me. I want to share with you a way to consider creativity and leadership. Now, for me, this is my way of being, right? My way of living and moving through the world, a way that has helped me in all spheres of my life, as a creative, as an artist, and as a leader. And now, you probably know what I'm going to say next, right? I don't actually even make a separation amongst those three arenas of my life: creativity, artistry, and leadership. For me, they all go together, and I hope they will for you as well. It's something that I've written about, this dynamic creativity and artistry and leadership. I've written about it in all of my books, in Pass It On, in Flawless Leadership, Connecting Who You Are with What You Know and Do, in Sanctuary, in Dare to Wear Your Soul on the Outside, Live Your Legacy Now, and in a book called Legacy Living. Go figure, right? Legacy Living, the 6 Covenants for Professional Excellence. Now, I've been writing these books for well over 20 years, and it's no surprise that there's this intimate connection in all of these books. I write about the art of creative leadership, and specifically, I write about the art of staying the course, the choice of being faithful to whatever is working ya. Okay? Now, for the past several decades, in my work life as a leader, as a consultant, as an executive coach, a life coach, creativity coach, as a professor, and as an entrepreneur, as well as in my writing life, my singing life, my making dance and music life, my parenting life, what's been working me is this invisible matrix, or what I call an armature, that rules our lives as human beings. I mean, it absolutely rules our lives. Now, I'm going to share a little bit about this resource with you, about this armature, Because when you understand how powerful it is, you will actually want to know more about it so that you can harness that power and use it to make your life and work better and to help others do the same. So let's make one thing perfectly clear. All right? We are all creative. That's right. Now, if you're saying, oh no, not me, everybody but me, no. If you still have breath in your body, if you still have a pulse, you are creative. Now, let's talk about making that invisible armature visible. That's what I want to delve into with you today. I want to shine the light here so that you can easily recognize, or more readily recognize, and amplify the power of this matrix, this armature, in your own life and in your leadership. There are 7 dimensions or 7 aspects to this armature, and they all work together in harmony to give you a superpower in your life. I'm going to have time to really talk about just one of them today, but I'm going to name all of them. Some aspects of these will sound familiar to you, especially if you're a painter, a doctor, a professor, a gardener, a writer, a student, a college administrator, a plumber, a firefighter, a police officer, or a community servant. Now that covers a lot of ground, doesn't it? Didn't I tell you before that everybody, all of us, are creative? Okay, so whoever you are and whatever you do, you're going to recognize the parts of this armature. You're going to recognize them as creative principles, creative tenets. And some of these you're going to recognize, but maybe not necessarily within the framework of creativity. Maybe you learned what I'm about to share with you in an entirely different context. And you know what? That's okay. Here's what I've learned and chronicled in my own life. I call the 7 dimensions, or the 7 aspects, I call them 7 sacred promises. Why? Because these are promises, these are contracts, right? That we make to ourselves, to one another, and to God. So when I talk about this armature, this structure, I'm referring to the 7 sacred promises. Now, the promises that I want you to know about, that I want you to be more aware of so that you can harness their power. These promises are gratitude, faith, love, vision, integrity, creative action, and legacy. Let me repeat them. The 7 sacred promises are gratitude, faith, love, vision, integrity, creative action, and legacy. Now, today we have time to focus on one of these promises in a lot of detail. I want to shine the light on vision. But before I talk about it, I want you to know that all of these promises work together. Like I said, they work in harmony. And just like the musicians in a band or orchestra work together, all of the 7 sacred promises, they're always present. They are always there as resources that work together for your good, right? To support us as leaders and to support our creativity. And they help us and support us as we keep moving through the days, the weeks, the months, the conversations, the relationships in our lives. They help us to keep on keeping on. And they're ever-present resources that we can draw on in our day-to-day living, in our day-to-day, moment-to-moment lives as